Hello, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Brandon Hadley, and welcome to Runner EDQ's webinar. Thank you so much for taking the time to join us. Today, we'll be going over the importance of emergency contact forms in the workplace. Before we begin, here's a quick overview of some of the topics we'll be covering. We'll start by going over some of the challenges HR personnel face when they don't have accurate employee information. We'll discuss why it matters to have this information on hand, how to keep it updated, what are some of the best information practices, and finally go over some solutions to help your organization achieve data quality. Now, without further ado, let us begin. HR personnel wear a lot of different hats for their organizations. They have a slew of responsibilities that are crucial to help your organization achieve peak operational efficiency, some of which include looking after the recruitment, compensation analysis, benefits administration, training and development, and general employee administration, just to name a few. One thing that all these roles and responsibilities have in common is that they all rely on having accurate and up-to-date employee administration. And you might think, well, obviously they have all that information needed to fulfill their roles, right? Well, this isn't always the case. And that's because we typically don't consider our current workplace as being a dangerous environment, especially not when it comes to our 9 to 5 office job. And because of this, many employers don't make it a priority to collect emergency contact information from their employees. This can be problematic as much as we'd like to think they don't happen, accidents and medical emergencies do happen more commonly than we think. In fact, the Bureau of Labor Statistics found out that in last year alone, there were over 2.8 million workplace-related injuries and illnesses. Non-fatal, thankfully. If you got sick or injured in your workplace, would HR know who to contact on your behalf? If the answer is yes, then congratulations, you're in good hands. If the answer is no, then HR would actually have difficulty knowing who to contact on your behalf, and having that line of communication to inform people what happened to you, it wouldn't be there. One of the biggest reasons why it is crucial for organizations to have accurate employee emergency contact information is because emergencies can happen anytime in the workplace. And it's not always just knowing who to contact, but how to keep in touch with employees while they're away recovering. There are many scenarios where this information is vital, including if an employee gets sick, faints, or has a medical emergency that requires calling 911. If someone is physically injured from a workplace accident, such as if Steve went to the break room and spilled hot coffee on himself and now has first-degree burns, now we need to call an ambulance. If someone doesn't respond to communications while they're on sick leave, let's say if Martha is away on sick leave right now and we haven't been able to reach her, we don't know how she's doing or when she could possibly return from work. If an employee doesn't show up to work and cannot be reached, we don't know if Steve overslept today or if something seriously happened. If we had proper emergency contact information, we can maybe contact his wife, we could contact his parents, we could contact a long lost relative. We don't know. If we don't have that information, it becomes that much more difficult. There's also instances where, in extremes, I should say, where an employee passes away, we need to figure out who to contact in order to sort out the final paperwork and paycheck. Now, it's not just enough for organizations to collect emergency contact information for their employees. They also need to keep it up to date as well. That's simply because a person's information can change over time. Someone might move to where not only Do they have a new address? We need to keep we need to keep in mind where they are now so we can send their benefit statements and their W-2s to the correct location. Someone might get married and want to add their spouse as emergency contact. Or it could be something as trivial as someone got a new cell phone, meaning that now they have a new phone number that we need to take into account. In any case, all these details should be updated in an employee's record. Now you might wonder, how often should HR update an employee's contact information? Well, the answer, once a year. Now we understand that there are organizations out there that employ hundreds, if not thousands, of employees. So telling them that you need to keep all of your employee information up to date can be a daunting task, to say the least. That's why, to alleviate this burden, companies should use a data quality solution. And that's because not only do you need to make sure you collect employee information or even keep it up to date, we need to make sure that there are no errors. And that's because uh, there are many different types of errors that could hinder your data quality, such as data entry errors. Maybe someone misspelled someone's name, email address, or physical address. There could be missing data. Someone forgot to put in a person's phone number, and now the employee record looks like Swiss cheese. Or, like I just mentioned before, the current employee information might be out of date. Let's take someone's address, for instance. A study shows that people within the ages of 18 to 45 move an average of 9 times. If someone moves 9 times, you need to make sure you have the correct address, otherwise, you'd be sending your benefit statements and W-2s to the wrong address, which won't be good. Now that we have gone over the challenges HR faces without accurate contact data, where that data would be useful, and why we need to keep it up to date, let's talk about the useful tips to help your organization properly manage an employee's contact information. Number one, collect an employee's information at the start of their career. You never know when an accident will occur, whether it takes place on their first day or their first year. So, for instance, we could bring Bob into the company, and right after he finishes all the paperwork and everything necessary, he can go to the break room, slip on a banana peel, and bust his head open. In that moment, we'd be, oh crap, Bob's injured. We need to call 911. In that case, do you have his emergency contact information on hand? If you do, then you know, okay, maybe we can call Bob's wife Susan to let her know what happened, or we can call his cousin Travis. In that case, you effectively know, okay, someone's injured. This is who I can contact to let them know what happened. Number two, update an employee's information regularly with the help of a data quality solution. As mentioned before, an employee's contact information may change over the course of their career. Having information that is no longer valid is almost as bad as having no information at all. If you have the right tool, you'll save your organization time, money, and most importantly, stress. Finally, know who to contact in the event of an emergency. A company's top priority is to ensure the health and safety of their employees. When HR is able to notify the emergency contacts on behalf of those afflicted, your organization effectively mitigates any communication issues that may take place and will allow you to keep in touch with them while they recover. So, Bob is hurt, but thanks to the emergency contact information he provided, we're able to notify his wife and any other relatives he listed. So, not only were we able to manage the situation quickly and effectively, now while Bob is away recovering, if we're unable to contact him for whatever reason, we have at least two other people we can call to ask about his condition and possibly know when Bob might be able to return to work. Now you might think to yourselves, Brandon, HR personnel have already so much on their plate. They have the roles and responsibilities you mentioned earlier, as well as now you're saying they need to collect information, keep it up to date, and make sure that it's free from any errors. Why? What's the point of it? Well, like I mentioned before as well, having an employee's information is is necessary to be able to fulfill all their current roles. Like all their responsibilities hinder on having premier data quality on their employees, as you can see from this graph right here. And not only that, it helps to make sure that your data is clean. That's because a Gartner study shows that 14 to 22% of databases contain undeliverable addresses without an address verification solution. So let's look back at addresses for a second here. If you have an employee that put down an incorrect address, one that's not legitimate, you can be wasting precious time and resources on this issue and allowing to go further into it. You could be sending your benefit statements and W-2s to the wrong address, and you're effectively wasting resources and possibly, even wasting company secrets by sending it to the wrong address. So that's money lost and also time because now you need to go back and manually fix this issue and that's time you could have been used to work on more important matters. So basically, what I'm trying to say is one thing you need to be on the lookout for is dirty data. Dirty data is essentially data that contains issues as duplicates or it's data that's simply missing. So this comes in the form of non-standardized data, non-verified postal data, duplicate data, and missing contact data. As little as one or two of these might be, they can all add up and really put a strain on your company's operational efficiency. And just like I said before, this could really hurt your company in terms of time, money, and most importantly, stress. So, how do we combat dirty data? Well, with the help of a data quality solution, we understand that HR personnel have a lot on their plate as it is. That's why LearnerEQ offers a suite of solutions to help make managing employee information much more manageable. Our, our solution offers, for instance, Clean Employee, offers seamless integration to various systems with real-time address verification and batch processing for existing data. What this means is you can effectively verify, correct, and standardize employee addresses. And what do I mean by that? Verify, correct, and standardize. Well, let me break it down. Verify, you can check the validity of an address, for instance, and you can make sure it's one of a kind, effectively eliminating all duplicates from your system. You can correct it. You can make sure an address is properly spelled and punctuated. And finally, you can standardize that address to your organization's preferred format. Every organization has a preferred format in terms of how addresses or certain contact information should look. Our solution gives you the power to enforce your standards to it. And for employees that are on the move, you can update those employee records with what we like to call National Change of Address Processing, or NCOA. Now, for employee records that have missing data, which are essentially Swiss cheese, they have a lot of different holes that you need to fill. Our solution gives you the ability to do so with email, phone, and social media pen. What this means is if you don't have an employee's email or phone number, our email and phone pen can search for the employee's email and phone number and make sure it's valid and add to their profile. But not only that, our solution also lets you use your data as a business tool. And what I mean by that is you can geocode employee data using latitude and longitude information down to the 5 and 9-digit USPS zip code. It's a great way for you to visualize where your employees are located, such as in the event of emergency, you can effectively communicate emergency contingency plans and other strategies as necessary. There's a lot of information to clean employees, so to learn more, please feel free to visit employee.runneredq.com to learn more. All right, before I conclude my presentation, here are just a few quick tidbits of information about our company as a whole. RunRateQ has been around for the past 20 years and has specialized in delivering premier data quality for organizations and institutions alike through their integrated address verification solutions. Within that time, RunRateQ has proudly helped verify over 10 million addresses nationwide. Much of our over 4,000 daily users come from institutions and organizations from a vast array of sectors, such as those from higher education, finance, and so much more. And with the help of our world-class customer support, we can gratefully and proudly boast a 99% customer retention rate. Only good things from here on out. All right, and that concludes my presentation for today. To learn more about the importance of data quality, please feel free to visit our website at runreadq.com. Thank you so much for your time today. I'm Brandon Hadley, and have a wonderful day.